Now, a Target 12 consumer investigation, dangerous dams.
We found dozens of dams across Rhode Island that the state says are in, quote, unsafe condition. Even more alarming, the state says if some of these dams fail, people will likely die.
So what's being done to bring these dams back up to safe condition? Let's get right to Target 12 consumer investigator Susan Campbell with what she's uncovered.
We found there are nearly 700 dams in Rhode Island, and many of them are privately owned. We also found many dams aren't being inspected or repaired as often as they should. This is the Bowdish Lower Dam in Gloucester, or as the state of Rhode Island calls it, dam number 727. It's classified as a high hazard dam. By definition, that means if it fails, there will be a probable loss of human life. And the Department of Environmental Management says this dam is unsafe. These court documents uncovered by Target 12 show the dam's owner has ignored orders to repair it since 2012 and hasn't even had it inspected since 2009. It got so bad the DEM took the owner to Superior Court. In June, a judge ordered the owner to fix all issues with the dam within 6 months. We reached out to the owner by phone several times and went to the address listed in those court documents. No one ever answered. If you think the Bowdish Dam is the only high hazard dam in bad shape here in Rhode Island, think again. We crunched the numbers from the DEM. What we found might surprise you. We've learned there are 668 dams in the state. 96 of those are high hazard, where failure means people will likely die. Another 81 dams are classified as significant hazard, meaning failure would result in, quote, major economic loss. According to the DEM, last year there were 41 high and significant hazard dams in unsafe condition, and only 7 of those were fixed.
It's very concerning. I mean, the dams in the state are mostly over 100 years old.
David Choppy is the chief of the department's Office of Compliance and Inspection.
The storms that we're getting are becoming more intense. In August 2014, there was a storm in Islip, New York. 13 inches of rain fell in 24 hours, 5 inches in an hour. Our dams aren't designed to handle that kind of water.
What would it take to get all of these dams up to safe standards?
If we had the pot of money we needed right now, it probably would take about 10 years or so to get them the design work done, to have them built so that they could withstand these kind of storms.
Here's how the state's dam inspection system works. Visual inspections of high hazard dams are required every 2 years, and significant hazard dams every 5 years. The inspections can be performed by the DEM or by an engineer hired by the dam owner. Dam owners are then responsible for the cost of any needed repairs. On average, there should be about 64 inspections of high and significant hazard dams every year. But we've learned last year only 12 were inspected.
Is there a problem with the timeline for inspections?
It's partly that when we issue a notice to people, we know that the dam is unsafe, and we know that they need to hire an engineer to fix it, and it takes multiple years to get the dam fixed. So we're not going to put that on another inspection cycle because we know that the engineer is working on it.
For a complete list of the dams in your community, head to WPRI.com. Then coming up, new at 6, cities and towns are required by law to have an emergency action plan for each dam in case it fails. We've learned just a fraction of towns have done so. With the Target 12 investigator Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.
New details now in a Target 12 consumer investigation, dangerous dams. As we told you at 5, there are nearly 700 dams in Rhode Island, and we found many of them are years overdue for inspection. Many others are deemed unsafe by the state.
And new at 6 tonight, we uncover a law that requires cities and towns to have emergency action plans in case a dam fails. But consumer investigator Susan Campbell found many communities are not following that law.
The Department of Environmental Management says these action plans would minimize the loss of human life and property damage if a dam fails. It's been 8 years since cities and towns were required by law to come up with these plans, but we found only a fraction have been completed. The Rhode Island DEM breaks dams into 3 categories: high, significant, and low hazard. High hazard means if the dam fails, there would be probable loss of human life. And significant hazard means failure would cause major economic loss. There are 177 high and significant hazard dams in Rhode Island. According to the DEM, last year there were 41 in unsafe condition. Only 7 of those were fixed.
For the people who live around these dams and have maybe never thought about the potential risk, what is the message to them?
I would tell them to be vigilant, especially around times when it's particularly rainy. I think that they should be talking to their local officials about what plans they have in place if there was an emergency. How would I be notified? How would that be handled?
By law, cities and towns have to know the answers to those questions. State law says by July 1, 2008, an emergency action plan shall be prepared for each significant or high hazard dam by the city or town wherein the dam lies. But Target 12 has discovered of those 177 high and significant hazard dams, only 47 emergency action plans exist, and only 24 of those have actually been approved by the DEM.
And they're in the process of completing those for all of the dams. Some of them don't have them yet. So that would be if I was someone who lived downstream of one of these dams, those are the questions I would be asking.
Because the threat is real. During the 2010 floods, 5 of Rhode Island's dams washed out. 2 of them were significant hazard dams.
We've done a lot to get the dams safer than they have been. We're doing inspections that we weren't doing before. We're repairing dams that we weren't repairing before. So there's a lot of effort being put into it, but we had a long way to go because we were in such bad shape to begin with. So it's going to take us a lot more time and more money to get there.
The investigation continues online right now on WPRI.com. We have an interactive map so you can search for dams in your community. With the Target 12 investigator, Susan Campbell, Eyewitness News.